Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? I hope you guys had a great day today. Today, I'm going to do the swing trading. I couldn't add it yesterday because it would have just been way too long. So, today we have a quick recap and we're going to get to what I wanted to share with you guys and as far as swing trading is concerned. But I want to share this with you first. Rock bottom will teach you lessons that mountaintops never will. If you think about it, whenever you hit rock bottom, that's when you're the most humble, when you're the most vulnerable. And that's when you really listen the most and you take in things and you take things to heart a lot better. So think about when you reach the top, you don't have that humbleness. Most of us just don't because of everything that we've been through to get there. And so I feel when you're at rock bottom, that's going to teach you. And if you've been trading for a while, you've experienced rock bottom. You've experienced it a couple times. And I'm not talking about blowing your account up. We can hit rock bottom and not blow up our account. A lot of people are teaching you that, hey, you're going to blow up your account multiple times, or you have to pay homage to the market gods multiple times before you get to where you want to be. You really don't. If you have the right education up front that teaches you the right mental skills, you're not going to go through that. You're not going to blow your account up over and over and over again. You just don't have to do that anymore. Back when I started, yeah, there wasn't much out there. But now, there's no reason to. If you find the right person that's going to tell you how things really are, you don't have to go through that. But just think about this. After one of your best days in the market, you have a big winning day, and you feel like you're on top of the world. All right, what happens the next day? What typically happens the next day or the next couple of days after you've had your best day in the market? And we typically lose, right? Or we typically give it back, or sometimes we have our worst day. And that's because we're not humble anymore. We're not receptive. And we start doing things that we shouldn't be doing, that we think we're above. And it causes us to make trading mistakes and errors. And we do learn a little bit from that. But the substance comes from being at rock bottom, being humble, being open, and being the most receptive person that we can be. And that's where the depth comes in. The depth of your learning is when you're at rock bottom. So just wanted to share that with you. I want you to think about that, so that every time you feel like you've hit the bottom, that's where your depth and learning is going to come from. That's where you're going to learn the most. And you'll be surprised how far you can go if you pay attention to those subtle lessons that you get, when you're at the bottom. So let's take a look at the market real quick. You could see over the last couple of weeks, we've been trading kind of in a little channel here. But every time the market pushes up, we have a good week in swing trading. It pulls back, it's a little slow, or it just trades sideways. Last week and the beginning of this week, we've had some really good pushes. But today, kind of put everything back sideways again. And you can see this is the 285.48 level that I was looking at and we talked about way back when, for the last month. As if we break over this, I was expecting an unabated move all the way up to 300. But we have not been able to get through 295. I don't know what's sitting here at 295, but we hit it once, we hit it twice, and we got slapped back today. And I'm looking for this 285 to hold. Now we're at about 284 now, so we've lost over $1 since we closed. But I'm thinking that this level is going to hold, or potentially to 20. If it doesn't, if we do lose this and we take out this low, I think we're coming in. We're going to get a healthy pullback. And there's nothing wrong with the healthy pullback, because that's what's going to help build strength and drive this market back higher. And, not just only a few months ago, we were at all-time highs. So it's going to be interesting over the next couple of weeks to find out what's going on, because as the country starts to open up, I know it's a modified opening, but more people are out. You have some people protecting themselves, some people aren't. You have a lot of young people who just feel invincible. And I know that feeling. When I was 18, 19, 20 years old, I thought I was invincible. As I think about the things that I did back then, I'm surprised I'm still alive. But that's the mentality of a lot of young people, and they're not taking this illness serious because it's not affecting their generation as much. It's only inhibiting their freedom and their expression, and it gets frustrating. But over the next couple of weeks, we're going to start to see the results of things opening back up, people moving around a little bit more freely. And if the hospitalizations and the cases pick up and start to ramp back up, then we're going to see some effects in the market. But right now, this market, I feel, is up on hopes and dreams. We're up on hopes and dreams, and we're in higher expectations. And I think that's where we are right now. So, like I said, the next 2 weeks are going to be interesting, and it's going to affect our swing trading. So we're going to talk more about the swing trades. I didn't get to do it last night. Like I said, that first video was just too much. So I said I would just do it today. We've got a short recap today, and then we can jump into what I wanted to share about the swings. Okay, DDOG, this is one that reported earnings last night, and it looked pretty good this morning. Now, this kind of it surprised me out of the gate. I did not expect this, but it made this strong move. And so when I waited for this. Here's the first 5-minute candle here. It's not this candle, but it's this one. We had the long wick. Now, the more aggressive entry could have been right here, because we had the long wick to the upside. We could have gone with the body, and here I could have been taking profit initially right here. But I waited, and I caught this on the break. Was just being patient, and we got one hit on it, and then it pulled back and stopped me out, and we started grinding back up. And then here we made this next big move. So I took it on the break, and I lost faith in the market. I realized I lost a lot of faith in the market. There was no reason for me to take this off at this point. I was feeling like I'm going to lose money. I was feeling emotions that you just should not feel. I had no confidence in the edge I had in the market. I had no confidence in the market at that point. And so it really affected my decision making. And I ended up taking it off here. Missed this nice move. This is the move that I was looking for back here. But we didn't get it. I didn't get in it. And so I just waited. We kind of bottomed here. We put in a little channel, which the stocks typically go range bound. And it puts in a range or a channel, however you want to look at it. And all in through here is the range. This is the channel. Once we broke out of it, that's when I got in and made the move back up. So I took profit along the way and then ended up getting stopped out back at break even. But got another little piece of this. But I was still not 100% comfortable in the market. I still felt that this thing is going to do something crazy. One of the reasons I thought that was Roku. Now, Roku is usually one of the best traders for me. And I was looking long on this. I thought this thing was strong and we were going to make it. It just looked strong. Even though the market wasn't. The market was going backwards. I'm thinking that this is really strong. And I got in, and here was my first target, the 5-minute opening range high. Never did get there. Could not get over 134.50. It got slapped back. And in this instance, this is what I should have been doing. I should have employed the same mindset that I had on DDOG here. I should have applied it here. But because of what happened on DDOG, where it just basically faked me out, I was like, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to let it work, because it may pull back and, finally make the move back up. And it didn't. We got the huge wash here and ended up getting stopped out. Now, I was keeping things close to the vest. I wasn't doing my normal $300 max loss. I kind of was keeping that in half, around 150. And it was just all a product of how I felt in the market today. And so we were watching this. And obviously, now once we broke down, there's not enough room here for me to take it. And then there was not enough room here. I mean, it probably was. But again, I was not where I needed to be. And I missed a really good trade here. We got the bounce and the rejection. And we were talking about this range that we were trading in. It put in a floor here. And we were just bouncing in the range. It was following the 9 down. So this was a descending triangle. Or you could say, this was a descending channel, because the top was coming in. The floor was staying the same. We got the break here. And I was looking to take the trade, but we got this huge sell-off candle, which again frustrated me. I don't like to see these big candles. Half of this would have been perfect. But we get the big sell-off going into the close of this candle. The next candle opens. I'm waiting for it to break the low and confirm this break. It didn't. It bounced, never made a lower low relative to this candle, came back, and then started to sell off, and I just didn't take it. And you could see this was a beautiful move into the close. It wasn't perfect, but it was definitely tradable. And it was just all a product of not having confidence in the market for whatever reason. And that's something I have to think about tonight and try to figure out what happened to the confidence I had. Because that is what you need to trade freely and to take your setups when they come. So today only ended up 92.61. Not just really left a lot on the table. It did not take advantage of the opportunities. All right, so we're going to go in tomorrow. Yesterday was a good day. We'll look at tomorrow, and should come in tomorrow with the right confidence and belief that, hey, the market, I can't worry about what the market's going to do. We can't. All we have to do is trade our strategy. Execute. Execute is more valuable than perfection. And so if we execute, then we're going to be in good shape. So that was today. Now, for the last couple of months, we suspended the swing trading classes because in those classes, I like to use fresh, relevant examples for the time that we're trading in now. And so I had to wait until I was able to start to see the market the way I wanted it and start trading the strategies. Because me teaching you strategies and not trading them does you absolutely no good. So I want to be able to trade the same stocks, the same strategies right along with you. We could do this together. Because it's very, to me, that's very, very important that we're able to do all of this together. There's a saying, show me and I may forget. And that's why, me showing you it just doesn't do it. I mean, you have to be involved. We have to work through these things together. And, I think it's really, really important. But so we're starting classes back tomorrow. We're going to review the 20 EMA cross. I know that was the last lesson that we went through. So we're going to talk more about it. And we're going to dig deeper into these lessons and into these examples. So DOCU, this is a stock we took last week. I think at the beginning of last week or the end of last week. A week before last. Yeah, April 27th is when we got in and we closed it out last week. Okay. So this was a 52-week high break scenario. And on these trades, we don't like to trade the initial 52-week high break because that's typically where you're going to run into a lot of profit taking. So we want to wait for a 5 to 10 day pullback, and then we're going to buy on the break when it sets up. We're going to be more specific in the class and how to look for this and how you want to set up while you're waiting. But here we got the pullback and we got a gap up day. So that's the day that we entered. The next day we opened with the gap up and started to push, and then the rug got pulled out from under us. And this is what can happen in this market, but you've got to be ready for this. And honestly, this day here, I was looking to kill this trade because I was like, if we close lower than we closed today, then the lower this day, I was just going to kill it. But fortunately, it just kind of barely hung on. And we ended up catching it, and it took off. But even if I had to get stopped out, we could have gotten back in. It did set up again. But we're still holding this. We took profit at 115, some more at 120. Our next target is 125. But really simple strategy. When you go to enter, it's either go or no go. That's it. The entry strategy, the entry trigger is either going to be a go or no go. So you go in, you set your stop, and you set your targets. And let it work. And that's basically what we did here. And you can see this is where we are now. This was a chart yesterday. Was up to 120.65. We kind of traded sideways today. So I think we've got an inside candle on this. And understandably, it just took a break. So still looking for 125 on the last piece. PTON was one that we took last week, at the beginning of last week. This was on our watch from that Sunday watch list session. Triggered the next day. Hit our entry trigger. This is the 20 EMA cross. We waited for a pullback and then it moved back over to 20 EMA. When we got the entry trigger, we just took it. You don't think about it. You take it. You know where you want your profit targets. On this one, your first target is going to be over the 52-week high. And that's where we hit it. And then the next day was earnings. So I only had half my position on. And I was really good that if it did fall on its face on earnings, we would come back to this 32 level. So I would still be in the money regardless. So I wasn't really concerned about holding it on earnings. And what most of what's been happening is stocks have been pulling their guidance, which is why I'm not trading the traditional earnings strategy that I normally do, where I get in and I trade the gap. I'm waiting until after the announcement, and then I'm trading the earnings after market. What you saw, we did that yesterday. But it got my target, next target was 42. And this happened after hours, before I could even trade. So I think it was like 5 o'clock or 5:30 in the morning. I couldn't trade that early. But when I was able to trade, we were all the way up at my final target, which was 45. And so I was able to take it. And it was a nice 2-day trade. And you can see we're trading, 500 shares. You can trade with 300 shares. You can trade with 200 shares. The money's still going to be good relative to your account size. So this one, we locked up 44.6250. DOCU, we're still in it, but so far we've locked in 35.4250. I'm not giving this money back. This is what we've got locked in. I will not let the position take me negative. We start pulling back in and we start trading under 115, I'm taking it off. That was one of the trades. QGen is another trade that we're in. This one has been really disappointing because I took it the same week I took DOCU, or the week before that, and it has not done anything. I bought it here on 4/14, and it hasn't done anything. But it's really not taking up too much of my buying power. It's only 500 shares. It's a $40 stock, and so it's not really hurting me. But I was looking for the first target at 43. It's at 43.50 now, because we already hit 43.50. We hit 43.15 or 25 or something. I can't remember the exact price we hit. Oh, right here, 43.39. That's the high it hit yesterday. My target, I had moved it up, was a little bit more aggressive. I moved it up to 43.50, and it just hasn't hit it yet. But you can see it's working, but it's taking its own sweet time. And I honestly thought this was gonna give me a gap up. I was looking for this type of move on this stock, and we just didn't get it. But it's still working, so I'm still holding it. Maybe I wake up one morning to a gap up where I could really take profit. But 43.50 is the next target. on QGen. ZS, this was from our watch list Sunday, this past Sunday. I didn't take any of these trades, but a lot of members did. It triggered an entry, and they took it. This was from last week's watch list. On the one from this week, I have somewhere, I think. I thought I had it from, I'll look. If I don't, I'll bring it up. If I don't. But I'm pretty sure I have on the one from last week. But you can see ZS, this was a 20 EMA cross. We're waiting for the pullback. Trade back through. The entry is on the first candle to make a new high after the cross. First target, 75. And the next target would be 80. But we have several members in that trade too. And here's another one. SGen, this was on the watch. Breakout. A really nice move up here. We got the, this was going to be a 52-week high break. Here's the 52-week high, the pullback that we look for. And we got a gap up. Now it's since pulled back in, but there's no reason why it can't continue to move up. But you should have been able to get some profit on that. All right, so TDOC, this is the one from Sunday. This was on our watch list Sunday. Several members got this yesterday, and they were ecstatic because you don't typically get a 15-point move on the day you enter your swing, but that's exactly what they got. And the perfect setup, I didn't get in it because I'm still nursing the two that I've got, but this was a perfect entry. We talked about this Sunday. No reason you shouldn't have taken some profit yesterday. Now, a couple people took it all the way off. They got like $12 and took the whole thing off. But today is kind of trading on an inside day. It's hasn't really made another move over this. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I know we had a hiccup today in the market. If it picks up tomorrow, I think it's going to do very well. So that's that. Just stay tuned. I had a lot of people ask me about the swing trades and wanted me to talk about them on the video that aren't members. So I just wanted to throw those out there. But we will be getting back to the swing trade class tomorrow. When we're starting with the 20 EMA crossover, that's the one that's really been, that gives us multiple opportunities. Because within that strategy comes the 52-week high break. Because a lot of times we take profit on the break, it pulls back a couple of days, and then we're able to either add or hold it for some more. All right, so that's going to do it for me tonight. You guys have a great night, great evening, and I will catch you in the morning.